Well, it's almost summer. We're about a month away, and we've got some pretty decent truck deals. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but are all of the new trucks that you see on the lot today actually low tech compared to what we're going to see in 2027 and 2028? If you aren't aware, in 2027 or 2028, NHTSA is trying to finalize new tech that will monitor you in cabin and try to detect impaired drivers. I'll go into that in another video. This video, I'm going to talk about half-ton deals, so let's dive in. Oh, and in addition to kind of showing you what deals are going on right now into summer, I'll give you my opinion of a buy, no buy type thing. As for the Tundra, I've changed my mind a little bit. I used to be just a hard pass, hard no, stay away. I'm kind of turning to a maybe. And part of that is because General Motors and their 6.2 liter issues have convinced me that things could be a lot worse with the Tundra. So yeah, let's jump into the Tundra first. So the first thing you're going to see with the Tundras is a ton of stock. You pretty much have your pick in colors, trims, options. You know, it's actually pretty good on that front. They're still selling a ton of them, but they are offering better deals than they used to in the past. You can get decent financing. They're probably $12,000 off MSRP for a limited Tundra. But on Toyota's website, so they just started offering 2.99% for 72 months. They kind of fluctuate. Sometimes they go 1.99. Sometimes they just remove it. But right now, that's a pretty decent deal if you're looking to keep something long-term. Now, I'm still a maybe on this engine. I'm not 100% certain they have all the kinks worked out, but I see fewer failures, especially through the NHTSA reports. Another option, if you're not going to keep this out of warranty, like you're going to keep it 60,000, you don't drive that often, I would suggest probably getting a lease. It's $459 a month, 36 months, $39.99 due at signing. That's probably going to be the safer bet for people that are just cycling vehicles anyway, and you don't want to hassle with, a blown engine or whatever. It's also easier, I think, to get out of those leases when you've got a problem or a downed vehicle. That's an option. But let's get into this Facebook post I saw today. He says, doing huge discounts on 2026 Tundras this month. This is a 26 limited nightshade loaded, most colors available, $54,425 plus tags. You're at $56,000 for a limited, which is much better deal than what I was finding when I was looking. I think the lowest I could get, even over like 2 weeks of negotiation with my local dealer, was around 60 to 62 on a limited. You kind of have an idea of what a lot of dealerships might be willing to sell a vehicle for, and it just kind of gives you that leverage and confidence to negotiate locally. So now that I know this, if I was going to go negotiate with my local dealer, I could just, take a screenshot, print this out, and tell them, look, I'm going to just get this shipped if you guys don't want to sell me something, and get something within reason. If you're not comfortable getting something shipped, use something like this as a negotiation tactic. Now, Toyota has a pretty bad history since 2022 with this engine, this V35A. They've had a colored past. You've seen a lot of videos recently talking about how there's no remedy for the engine. Well, in reality, compared to something like the GM 6.2, we see a lot fewer Toyotas failing than we do the 6.2 and the GM. When you look at NHTSA and the numbers Toyota provides versus the numbers General Motors provides, sure, GM sells a lot more trucks, but they aren't all 6.2 liters. And this is on thecarguyonline.com. When you look down here, I scroll all the way down here to the engine, and really there's one NHTSA complaint for the 2026s. Now, if we go back and look at the 2025s, you do see 28. So you could still infer that, hey, they just haven't had enough time, enough miles on the 2026s to start failing yet. But the latest one was in January here, complete engine failure. We did have that one gentleman on the show that he had one 2026 that had failed. But overall, in the Facebook groups, in Reddit, everywhere I can look, I do see fewer Tundras failing. Time will tell. This is why leases are becoming so popular with these new trucks. Now, I think Ram has the best deals for me personally because you have more stock. I was able to negotiate better with the Ram dealer. I think their powertrains are more reliable with the ZF transmission. And when you look at their deals right now, 2.9% APR for 72 months, plus you get $3,500 bonus cash and 90 days, no payments if you care about that. I think they're a better deal, and a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. I would still pick Ram over all of them. There's just too many benefits. I don't see powertrains dropping like flies in Ram. You can love them or hate them. Say they're a terrible brand, this and that and the other. The data speaks for itself. They've been more reliable powertrain-wise than the other brands. And with the Ram, at least with the Rebel package, people like this package because it has a lift kit, it has bigger tires, it has skid plates, some things that people really like. Better stereo, dual climate control, $54,000 around me. You can find it lower across the country than you can in Colorado. So I think the value that you get from a Ram and the fact that you get a ZF and you get the extra warranty, and you get powertrains that don't seem to be having recalls because they're spinning main bearings, it's still, I think, the top recommendation for me. Are you going to have electrical problems? Maybe. I haven't had any except for with regards to just CarPlay. So when you look at Uconnect and CarPlay and the interaction there, that's usually where I have issues. I haven't had issues with the digital dash or any of the way the truck functions as far as electronics are concerned. It's just with that interaction with the phone and the music and the navigation. That's usually where the problems come in. And if you're looking for like more of a highway style trim, not the Rebel, the Bighorn package is pretty decently equipped. It's coming in. Even the 2026 with the better warranty is around $48,000 in my neck of the woods. You can get that cheaper across the country. Now, moving on to General Motors. So they do 2.9% for 72 months. It's tough for me to recommend a GM, especially the 6.2 or the 5.3 liter. The 3-liter Duramax is sort of on the bubble with the thrust bearing issues. So really all three of the engines that I was considering when I was looking, I just would have a hard pass on them. And I'll show you some NHTSA data on this in a minute. They have good deals. The only powertrain I would even think is semi-reliable is their 2.7-liter TurboMax. Now, the TurboMax, they do have 0% APR on their TurboMax, which is funny because they struggle to sell it. You'll see guys in the forums like, I'm not buying a 4-banger. People don't want a 4-cylinder in their half-ton. They'll gladly accept it in their midsize. My guess is that's going to change. If this continues to be more reliable than their V8s, we'll see what happens with GM and their new 2027 model V8s. Now, we just looked at Toyota. Now, check this out. On the GMC side, you see engine failures. There's 13 listed here just for the Sierra 1500 2026. You can go look through these. The latest one here on the Sierra is April 9th, April 6th. I mean, you can go read through these. These are legit failures. It's going to be the 6.2 liter. The 5.3s are going to still have the lifter issues. I don't care what anybody says. So if you're getting a GM, just expect that you're going to have some expensive maintenance down the road. And if you drop back 1 year, again, engine failure, there's 24. The latest one here on April 19th. So it depends. Some of them are 40,000 miles, some of them 80,000 miles, and a lot of them really low mileage with that 6.2. And it puts people in a really dangerous situation. Same thing if you hop over to the Chevy Silverado side, the 2026. The engines, they're still coming in up till April on 2026 models with failures. And if we jump over to the 2025s, again, similar numbers to what you see with GMC. Here's the latest one on April 21st. 6.2 liter, killed itself, put the guy in danger. The whole story's there. You can go read these stories. There are some here, like you see, where it causes crashes. So it's a big issue. I just can't recommend them. But the TurboMax and the 3-liter diesel to me is kind of a maybe. The 5.3 is a maybe if you want to add a DFM disabler and monitor your oil and be concerned with lifter failure. It kind of depends on how religious you are with your oil changes. And Ford, they're a little different story. They've had problems with some manufacturing plants, so their inventory is getting lower. I don't think you're going to find quite as good a deal. At least I can't locally on F-150s, and that's mainly due to inventory. Now, they do advertise that they're doing this employee pricing, so here's kind of what it amounts to. 2026 Ford F-150, the XLT 2.7 EcoBoost, $438 a month for 36 months with $5,700 cash down. That's not a great lease deal in my opinion. 2026 F-150, just down below that if you're looking at financing, 4.9% APR for 60 months. And I'll show you some prices here just to kind of compare to the other trucks. So I'm just going to go through the kind of the average man trims for each of those trucks we just talked about. Toyota's SR5, at least around me, $49,699 is what you're going to find. And by the way, these are dealers that I've purchased from in the past, and I trust a lot of these, like Corwin Toyota, and their advertised pricing is what they will sell you the vehicle for. So the limited trim, which I would be more interested in, it's kind of got everything I would want. So that's around $56,658. So right around what the Ram Rebel costs. Now, I would still choose a Rebel over that. for the same or a little bit less. That's just me. You get a 1-inch lift, bigger tires. I just like the Rebel more. I like the powertrain more so far. But that's still a much better deal than what I saw when I was looking. Now, if I open that up to like a nationwide search down in Florida, you can find those limiteds for around $53,000. So prices are coming down, in my opinion. And yes, they are four-wheel drive. And on the GM side, you can get an Elevation package 2026 for around $42,395. That's pretty stripped down. It's still got the Elevation package, but it has like the bench seat in the front, cloth seats. It's not super posh, but it's a better price than what we've seen in the past, and usually get better financing at that $42,000. The downside is the TurboMax, right? Nobody wants it, but it seems to be their most reliable engine right now. Now again, Ford in their equivalent trim, I would say an XLT is sort of equivalent to an Elevation package, a stripped down XLT. This XLT is $46,000 with the 2.7 EcoBoost. It's a good engine, but it does have twin turbos, so you do have more going on with a V6 than you do an inline 4. I think sales are going to go up, at least, for the foreseeable future. And I'll tell you why. So here's the honest truth. This is coming in like 27, 2028. They are going to start putting things in vehicles that nobody wants. We thought the vehicles today on the lot were high tech. Just wait until they start implementing all this stuff that is inward-facing cameras. The amount of technology they're going to stash in these vehicles because they're going to be required to by law to sell them is astounding. It's going to drive the cost up of vehicles. I'm not saying you should rush out and go buy one, but I do think this is going to, just the discussion that you've seen online from all these other YouTube videos, this is going to push sales from now until they implement this technology. You watch, sales are going to go up. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think the best powertrain is? Do you trust Toyota yet? I don't know if I do. Even the Car Care Nut came out with a recent video. He was disappointed in the paint quality and a lot of other things. It wasn't just the powertrain in the Tundra. Another reason why I still recommend the Ram. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.